get you out. Now I see all blue. There is so much cold in you, and the silence is so loud when you go. I just stay dancing with my shadow all day. Watch the time. I can't find the point where our two paths align. But you're the night sky. I'm trying to see your stars. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. And hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Just tripping on day. Dreams got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep. When it hurts like this, we climb the greatest heights, jump down and have a fight, and that's all we'll ever like. But that can never change my mind. When it's good, it's amazing. When it's bad, it's uneasy. I wouldn't have it another way. There's no other way.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to an amazing, a great, a wonderful episode of Inside Fnatic's Brush Podcast. I am your host, Matt Scott, and I'm here to tell you everything that happened during week 3, including an amazing win against eternal rivals G2, where we obliterated them with an amazing Taric pick, a beautiful Xin in the jungle, but most of all, King Adam's Renekton. But before we get there, thank you for joining me today. As I mentioned, I'm Matt Scott. I've been doing this for quite some time now, since January. If you're, again, one of the new viewers, welcome. Today I'm covering week 3 of the podcast, where I'll be talking about everything LEC, looking at Fnatic, and sharing some predictions going into week 4, which will already be actually the halfway point for the summer split. That's going to be a banger. In any case, just give me 2 seconds. Actually, I just want to just need to do something really quickly here. Kaboom. There we go. All right. In that case, if everything is Gucci for you guys, just making sure I have everything. Give me 2 seconds. I'm a bit lost here. Okay. All right. Cool. I think we have everything in place. We're ready to go. We're groovy. Okay. Let's get us started then. LEC, week 3. The standings currently, we still have Misfits top of the table, with joining them Rogue and Fnatic with just 1 win apart, standing at a 5-2. Now we have a sort of middle of the table that's being created. Before that, there was like divided in 2 within sort of week 2. Now week 3, we have this top team, which is Misfits, which really look like the best team so far. We have the contenders. We have this sort of mix and match of like who's going to be the top 6 of the qualifying into the playoffs, with Mad Lions, G2, Vitality that had a rough start but had an amazing week, which I'll be talking about. G2 really not finding their form, going 0-2 this week, not great for them. And Mad Lions still suffering kind of from coming back from MSI. In my opinion, they still look like the best team going in, but I think it's not like looking that gloom and doom. I think they're still have some time to get into the zone and maybe get more regular wins as it goes on, and then really have the bottom of the table teams who are really struggling. Astralis, Excel, Schalke, and SK, while getting their first win, they recently made another change in their support, putting Pac Jezzes into the head coach role, bringing Lilip from their academy. But yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't too great. But what I wanted to focus on this week is Vitality, who had an amazing week, going 2-0 on Friday, a win against Mad Lions, which was really back and forth in my opinion. It felt like Mad Lions were winning and making the right moves. Later, sort of overextending on that first blood in the top lane, which kind of felt like it was GG, really, because giving that sort of advantage on a scaling mid laner with the Rise. But then it just went all over the place. Self-Made had an amazing game, and clearly the MVP, both I believe for the Mad Lion games and the G2 game. Their win. Sorry, I'm mixing this up. It was Friday against G2, and it was Saturday against Mad Lions. G2 definitely not looking great. So I think Vitality just took the opportunity to smash them, and they definitely look stronger than what they've showcased before on the previous weeks. We've seen Self-Made share the fact that it's been a bit difficult for him to show the performances that they have on scrims. So I'm guessing their scrims are looking really good so far, and they're unfortunately not able to achieve what they're looking for here. But this week, they did a solid work. I'm just trying to find the recap of their game against G2 here, which was that? I'm not too sure about that. Just give me 2 seconds here. I don't think I have the right game. Was it that much of a One Direction game? Let's see, match list. Da 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 da. Vitality G2. It was. Oh yeah, it was quite a stomp actually. G2 only got 1 kill and 1 turret. Yeah, wow. How do I not remember this better? Yeah, it was an absolute stomp by Vitality. Selfmade had an insane game on his Lee Sin. I don't know. I just had brain fart there. How did I not remember this game when I was watching it? It's the old age, guys. Sorry about that. But Vitality super solid on their game here, and I think are finally going on a upward trend this time. Really looking forward to them being able to be at the level where I think we should be expecting them, which is a top contender for playoffs. Top 4, top 5, something like this. I think it's not too crazy in my opinion. I think we should have those type of expectations with the players they have on this team. So they're making baby steps in that direction, and it's exciting to see actually where they can go. If hopefully they can take it to challenge the players and the teams who are standing more on the top of the table, like the misfits, the rogues. Looking at their games for next week, it's against Astralis, so should be another easy point, and then against Excel, so they should be able to have a 4-game win streak, which will definitely kick them a few place on the sort of upward area of the rankings. Definitely helping them quite a bit in their race into securing a playoff spot. With that said, it doesn't feel like there's anyone in that bottom 4 who can really challenge for that top 6. It already feels like just before we reach the sort of mid part of the split, that the top 6 is already solidified. Whatever place these teams ending, so far it really looks like Misfits is the uncontested team, with only 1 loss, which again was against Rogue in a sort of unfortunate, insane, inspired Fiddle ult. Inspired has been absolutely amazing, and definitely, I think you can definitely rank him as top 2, if not the best jungler in the league right now. His pathing, the way he plays the game. I don't think there's a lot of people who can actually contest him in that position. Elyoya is not really at the level where he has been, especially during MSI, and again, it's sort of that burnout where he's still finding his space and his place within sort of this new meta. He's the only one who's still able to make Volibear relevant, which is quite funny, to be honest. Where this champion is like 2 or 3 patches gone. Even if you want to play him with Divine Sunder, that's more of a solo queue thing than really a pro player sort of pick. A pro player, sorry, pro team in Pro League. I'm missing my words today. I don't have my water with me. It's okay. But yeah, then obviously Rogue didn't have, I would say, the most complicated week facing Astralis and Schalke. Um, yeah, it's unless the top six teams kind of face each other, it doesn't feel like um, there's an actual contest to reach that top six. And if you look at the standings right now, the difference between the last team in top six and the first team in the bottom four is actually 2 wins. So it's not even that close where it's just like 1 win separation. That's more on the playoffs teams where it's like 1 win between first and second and 1 win between second and sort of joint fourth. Um, so you kind of have to ask yourself if the season's pretty much not done, and now it's just a situation um, of who gets in the upper bracket and who gets into the lower bracket, and it's more like seeding right now than really who gets to make playoffs. I doubt that Excel, who are gonna bring Mark Kuhn and Advien, well, they're great players in NLC. Bring them in the sort of the middle of the split. Sorry, when they're gonna be. I think they have like a super complicated first week. They're facing G2 tomorrow, and then they're facing Vitality, who's in great shape. So you're kind of throwing them to the wolves right now, and you're like, well, get us to playoffs, guys. Thank you very much. It's like I'm not even sure how much scrim time they get between them to actually like build synergy. Um, and I don't think it's enough really. What's his name? Is it Kreis? Yeah, Kreis. In the top lane, still it's not great. Nuke Duck's been, I'd say, stable. He's played to the level we expect him to play. He's had some decent plays actually on his Azir, so can't really fault him. Patrick has always been a solid ADC. I feel like he's been kind of faltering this display, or maybe not had the occasion to shine as he's done it on previous splits. Will Advian maybe unleash him? I hope so, because I think it's just a shame that we don't get to see more of what Patrick is able to do, and he just gets kind of stumped by other ADCs like the Reckless and the Hansamas and the Upsets and the Karzis, who are all doing really decently on this past week. So yeah, it's more of a seeding game right now. Um, you know, now it's all about, if you look at the sort of second half of the top six, which ones are actually going to be able to get that fourth place, which will guarantee them an upper bracket spot, and therefore, if they lose a best of five, they still get a second shot, right? Um, it's actually hard to tell so far. Um, like obviously it's best of ones, right? But Vitality is on an upwards trend. They're probably gonna go to 0 next week, so that's definitely gonna boost them and help them solidify sort of upper bracket seeding. G2 just lost 0-2. It doesn't feel like going into week 3 they found exactly their style yet. While they brought in Nelson, it's kind of up and down. Basically, they have some really good performances, they have some close performances, and then they have some really bad performances. Some of them due to drafting, some of them due to execution. If you look at the game that they had against us, you can ask anyone, and it was like, well, drafting wasn't good, but their early game they should have taken over, and they didn't really snowball their sort of global execution with the Pantheon and the Nocturne, and they let Fnatic basically come in, set up their pace, take the team fights, and just steamroll and close the game. So going into week 4 for G2, they definitely need to be looking at some wins. For them, I think they're happy to have to face Excel, but then there's a massive game for them on Saturday against Misfits, which for me is going to be a double test. Basically, it's going to be between um, what do you call it? Between either Misfits solidifying themselves as like the top team who just untouchable, and looking potentially like the winners of summer, and G2 saying no, we just had a bad week last week. We're coming back. We've made some changes. We have a new approach to the game, and we're back to the level G2 is supposed to be with the caliber of players they're supposed to have. Like, again, you look at their roster beginning of the season. Normally they should be untouchable. They pretty much have the best player, or if not top 2 player in every role, right? So on paper, no one should be able to touch them. But so far, it's end of spring split struggles, going into summer, nothing seems to have really been fixed. Whatever Nelson is supposed to bring to the team hasn't shown yet. Again, there's still a second half plus tomorrow and Saturday of split to be played, so a lot of things can change. We've seen that in a lot of teams that didn't have a great season, then on the second half they came back. Schalke miracle run is one of the examples, obviously. I don't think it's going to happen this time. Schalke is they've been in the dire situation, plus the fact that obviously it's been official that they've sold their spot to a French organization, BDS. So that's another question for me, is that, and I'll probably ask it to you guys who are watching, if you want to share your opinions in the chat right now. Do you think that the announcement of Schalke selling their spot is going to affect the motivation of the players? And if it does, do you think it's going to affect them positively, as in we're just going to have like a banger exit, or is it going to be more on a negative aspect, and they're like, what's the point anyways, where we might not even be in the team next week despite our efforts? So yeah, tell me what you think in the chat. I'm really curious about you guys' opinion. If you can also join me in the Discord. I don't know if people. Oh, people are actually typing in the Discord. I see. So let's say they're already doing terrible. Don't think so. Probably just going to make their motivation worse. Time saying disagree. They probably want to get picked up. That's actually a good point. You definitely want to play to your maximum here if you're looking to get a spot next season. Then again, BDS does have an LFL team. While they're not the best, I believe, they still have some resources in that regard. So it could be interesting to see if they use some of that reserve, or if they stay with how do you call it, with the current Schalke roster. But does the team get taken? Well, not necessarily. They just take the spot, and then they can take the team. Like when Astralis came in, I think they only kept Nukeduck, was it? And then the team kind of went all over the place. So obviously they can rehire some of the players, and Um, it's like you still have some solid players here. You have Broken Blade, who's a solid top laner. Maybe not the best, but sorry about that. But who's able to bring in some performances. I think what's his name, Nuclear Int, is an interesting prospect as well. He's for me, he's really being the shining star for Schalke this split. And well, I'm trying to think who else on there. I mean, like Neon has from time to time his good performances. Um, so Astralis bought Origin, BDS is just buying the spot. Ah, true. Good point. Good point. Astralis did buy Origin, and then they just rebranded it. Good point. So yeah. That's yeah. Well, again, it's you have to consider this, right? It's either BDS goes into like full scouting mode and looks for a different team, or they already take some pieces of the puzzle where these players are already playing together, so you have that built-in synergy, and it can definitely help them in that regard. So it's I mean, obviously we're talking about next year, and maybe I'm going a bit too far. The off season is always a banger. So before we get there, but yeah, it's all in all. Um, this is just to say that I don't think anyone from Astralis, Excel, Schalke, or SK is going to be able to sort of scratch that top six for the playoffs. Um, yeah, it's a bit sad. I'm thinking about Markun and Advien, who are going to come in with, I don't know how much pressure is put on them to say like, yo, Excel needs to make playoffs, because it's a bit of a meme at this stage. But yeah, it's a bit of a struggle for them. Very sad for SK, who was really an interesting team last split, and now there's just really nothing for them to be done. And Astralis still have a meme team. Yeah, it's a bit disheartening because it doesn't feel as competitive as spring. But it still feels very competitive when you look at the top six, right? Where you feel like anyone can beat anyone, and it's all about proving that you can stay at the top, especially for Misfits, who now it's like it's like a challenge for them every time they're gonna meet like a top six team. Is that okay? You won on that first half of the split. Now can you do it again on the second half? Did you just have like an early miracle run, or now that teams are improving, are finding their style, are finding their synergies? Obviously the changes within Fnatic, within Vitality, G2 trying to get back into shape, all these sort of elements. Mad Lions, who will progressively, I think, fit more and more into the meta as they not only leave quarantine, but they will have a bit less of that sort of post MSI burnout. See how they react, especially going into the best of five. So I fear there's like a lot of elements included here that we can take into consideration. And yeah, it's gonna be a weird second half of the split, basically. After, well, starting week 5 actually. This week is the end of the first half, so it'll be an exciting show. Let's see, for games that include the top 6 teams. Other than that, I feel it's gonna be really like very straightforward. Like if we take the games from Friday, I don't know what you guys think, but it was insanely like one directional. Um, it's just straight up stomps. Like it didn't feel like any game was close, apart from maybe. No, actually, there's there's really nothing that was close. I'm looking at the post games. It's just like the road game versus Schalke, stomp. Vitality G2, stomp. Fnatic Astralis. I mean, it was a bit of a meme game of like limit testing. It feels like, but you know, if you look in terms of the kills, it's always going to be a bloodbath with Fnatic. If you look in terms of objectives, like Astralis only got 2 turrets, they got 2 drakes, and then they got nothing, right? Um, Fnatic got everything they wanted and more. Misfits Excel, like absolute demolition, and Mad Lions SK, like apart from maybe a bit of the early game, but apart from that, and I feel like this is what we're gonna get in the second half, because there's nothing where there's gonna be an actual challenge where people are actually gonna bring something and say, oh well, Markun and Advien are actually the missing pieces for Excel. It takes much more, in my opinion, to sort of bring it back. And there's too much of a challenge in the top six to say that bring 2 quality players in Excel is going to help them like scratch that sixth spot. Like I don't know what you guys think, but do you think just bringing Markun and Advien is going to be enough to go and get like maybe a struggling Mad Lions or struggling G2? Because for me, like I only think those are the 2 teams you can maybe go and challenge and go take them. For me, Vitality is on an upward trend. They seem to be doing well in scrims now that they're finding their pace with their 3 new players. You know, I feel like they're gonna be the guys who are looking for that top 4, top 3 spot, and it's gonna be more like Mad Lions and G2 who are gonna try to find a way to get as many wins as possible, and then against the top 6 teams try to scratch upwards into that top 4 bracket for the upper bracket in playoffs. So I'm actually super interested if there's actually, let me just, where's my VC, community podcast VC. I'm just going to jump in there. If anyone wants to join me, it's on the Fnatic Discord. I believe if I do that, there we go. If you want to join me into discord.gg/Fnatic, there's a channel called Community Podcast in which you can jump in and share your opinions. So yeah, if anyone wants to join me, you can let me know in the chat in the channel. Otherwise, we'll just move forward with the Fnatic segment. But again, feel free to jump in. There's no judgment. It's just a pure conversation of knowing what the community, you guys, think about what's happening in the LEC. Oh, Talion wants to jump in. Well, be my guest. Be my guest. You know how it works. Join me in the voice channel, and I will unmute you at once. There he is.
Hi.
Yes. Let me just check the volume levels. Okay. Say something. See if it works.
Hi, glad to be here again.
Awesome, it works. Well, I'm glad to have you on board, Talion. If you've kind of obviously heard some of the topics that I've covered, what's kind of your opinion of what's happening in the LEC, and is there anything in particular for you who stood out maybe on that past week?
I mean, obviously, the win against G2 was a highlight. Really good one, because at the start, it looked like it was going to be the classic G2 versus Fnatic game where we just int some kills, and then there's that huge gold lead. They had like 3k gold lead at 12 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like one of those classic doomed games. But then there was that clean ace,
Yep.
and um, besides that gold lead, it was very clean.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's also a nature of the direct pick because they really couldn't do anything once they got even or behind, because Tarek just is really good when the player uses his ult correctly, which Healy did. The other highlight, not Fnatic related, was of course the news about Schalke
Mm-hmm.
selling to BDS. Um, the questions about what the roster is going to be interests me a lot because one of their academy players, the mid laner, Chico, is Portuguese, and Portuguese representation isn't the best in LEC. We
Mm-hmm.
had Attila,
Attila, yeah.
and then
I think that's
no one
about.
else.
Yeah.
So it would be pretty hype if he joined. But I think it's going to be Nuclear Int or another one, another rookie.
Mm.
Because I think they none of the players except Kirei has been underwhelming.
Mm.
I think it was to be expected that Schalke had such a drop off because they lost their star mid laner and also the jungler that really fit in well with that mid laner. And yeah, I think BB will definitely get picked up because he's been their best player in my opinion. The only win they had, it was him carrying. Him and Nuclear Int, of course,
Mm-hmm.
with Data Calling one of the games. Um, and while Limit and Neon haven't been as good as they were in spring,
Yeah.
I think that's the nature of also not the whole team environment changing, and also the jungler because Limit might have had better synergy with Gilius than with
Mm.
Kirei. And yeah, I said I disagreed with Metroid earlier on if they would play better or worse.
Mm.
I don't think they'll play worse because at least that's what I get. Oh, that's a feeling I always get with these kind of teams that they have the last a last split or last tournament. They always feel motivated, and
Mm.
even though they get disappointed if they fail, like for example with G2 to 2017 at Worlds,
Right.
they failed, but they were.
I'm sorry about that. Has everyone left already? I am so sorry. I have no idea what happened. Um, my basically set up because I have to plug something into the wall for it to work in a different room. In any case, we're back. Sorry about that. Italian, I'm sorry for basically cutting you off in the middle of the conversation. My camera is blurry. Uh, Screw it. We've covered LEC. Let's just get back into it and let's talk about Fnatic because yeah, we're not gonna have this podcast is what do you call it? This podcast is not gonna not happen when we've just beat G2, right? So I'm gonna take my glasses. I'm gonna wear them back again because that was initially the plan, right? And this camera had better focus. It's focused. Is it focused? Am I focused? Hello? It looks focused to me. Do we look focused, guys? Can I get a thumbs up or something? Do we look good? Yes, I look good because I've got my sunglasses. In any case, awesome week for Fnatic. I'm so annoyed that happened. Anyways, super week for Fnatic. We we got two amazing games against Astralis, and most importantly against G2. We're on a 5 game win streak. We're looking decent overall. Uh, Most of all, we have um, what seems like good synergy. Listening to the the voice calms and everything. It sounds really calm. There's controlled aggression, so quite happy about all of this. Obviously, um, I'm so flustered because I'm not even sure what I wanted to talk about in specifics. But actually, let's talk about the MVPs. Niski is, as usual, being quite solid, both for the game against Astralis and the game against G2, where he had an amazing outplay against Wunder, which I think, had he not outplayed this, could have changed the game altogether and definitely made a lot of problems in that situation. Against Astralis, he played a very solid Twisted Fate, which is really his sort of patented champion, along with Zoe. So quite happy to see the results that we have with him. Top DPM, by the way. And what I like about this is that he's just a quiet player. He's just doing his things, and the impact is not necessarily being seen by a lot of people in you know in the sort of fan bases in general from the LEC, from the audience. But I was pushing for him to get MVP for the game against Astralis. I'm happy he got it because obviously there was Whippos Viego, where he had that team fight around what do you call it, around the Baron, where he really got all these resets, and it was just a bloodbath for him. But if you look at the replays and you look at Niski's positioning, it's quite amazing what he's able to do just on the side, hitting his stuns, hitting his Everfrost, and just being a constant nuisance for Vitality, Astralis' engage. So yeah, quite happy he got the MVP on that one. The game against G2, and the Italian, spoke about it, that it was a bit of a difficult one, going into obviously the early game, strong aggression, especially with stuff like Pantheon, Nocturne, who have a lot of map presence, semi-globals, where they can just turn the tide of the game. Still a bit of a questionable draft from G2, where it's more a lot of like a go-in draft, and then on the other side you have Tarek and Renekton, who are waiting for you to smash them and just pick a fight with them, and they will win most of the time. So early game was a bit squeaky bum time, as they would say, but as we got into that mid lane team fight, really flipped it over. It's that aggression, which I think usually would have been a bit scary, which there was just picked at the right time. And Adam, absolutely amazing with his Renekton, just jumping in, slicing the back line, jumping onto the Nocturne and the Jhin, being an absolute nuisance, not letting Reckless have any impact in the team fights. Did the same when we were sieging for the mid lane turret, inhib turret, and was just like go in, pile all the damage into the Jhin, and the game's pretty much over at this stage. Another big impact was obviously the Pantheon getting all the kills. Therefore, nothing for Nocturne, nothing for Jhin, nothing for the Viego, who definitely would have been the game changer had things gone a different way. So yeah, good controlled aggression. Very happy to see that despite a complicated early game, we managed to bring it back. And the moment we brought it back, we actually stayed in control, and we were able to bring the damage to G2 and get a very important win in what continues our win streak. Obviously, it's always nice to beat our rivals G2, but not only that, but continuing our progress of showing that we're a team that needs to be taken seriously now, and that the changes that we've made within are not to be taken lightly, and that we're definitely a force to be reckoned with. And while obviously Bwipo may have had some misplays here and there, he was still looking really strong in the end, and being there where he needed to be. Adam still continuing to show that he wants to be the best top laner in the LEC, showing constant improvement, able to impact the map, make those TP decisions. Whipple has mentioned that they talk quite a bit, and he's allowing Adam to be a bit more selfish in the sense that he shouldn't be afraid to take some resources for himself and not just be looking to enable his team. And that's what gave the really strong Renekton against G2. And going into next week, we have SK and Schalke, I believe. Let me check. I believe those are the two games. Schalke on Friday and SK on Saturday. So those should be pretty straightforward games. Maybe the occasion to try some new picks. I don't know. I don't think so. I think we want to consolidate. We don't want to troll it too much, but maybe there's some spicy picks we can expect, especially from Bwipo in the jungle. Is he gonna bring out some Rengar or something? I doubt it, but maybe he's gonna bring something like a Lee Sin if it's open. So yeah, to be seen. But yeah, let's see. You guys wrote a few things here. Said the start of spring they toned down the aggression. We were wrong saying they do it in spring, but it's happening now. Won't care what 5 players say if we win summer. We do well at Worlds. I mean, it's it's like it's toning down the aggression, but it's like putting the aggression at the right time, and I think it's something we're definitely doing way better now. I'm just gonna put some light a little bit here. That it was always like go in, and sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't, and now it feels like the fight we're taking are much more calculated, and it's not just we need to fight, so we're gonna jump in and try to get a lead. There's more map presence in the sense that we try to get neutral objectives, get the heralds, get the Drake. I didn't check the stats, but it feels to me like there's definitely an increase in the sort of percentage of those neutral objective controls. It feels, but was like really good at timing those, looking at the strength of his lanes and being able to, to time those objectives properly. I'm just gonna take a drink of water because I've just been holding onto this for the past 10 minutes. Thank you, Fnatic. Yeah, no, just some solid performances from the games. What are you guys saying? Those should be straightforward games. The int is coming. I mean, maybe it wouldn't be Fnatic if we didn't lose those games, but I think I don't know. I don't think we're that volatile now, where it's like, Schalke or SK is going to get a game from us. I definitely think we look way more solid. That even in a game against G2 where we're a few K golds behind, we were still able to bring it back. So I'm definitely staying confident on that one. But yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up. I think we've covered Fnatic, so let's just have a look at the predictions. And yeah, going into next week, going into tomorrow. As you see, I have a slight lead on you guys because you guys said that Excel would win against SK, and I was mad enough to predict SK, and I was, um, damn, why am I not finding the word? I was rewarded for my madness, so that's why they call me the Mad Scott. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. That was so bad. In any case, um, again, it's about what I was saying on the first half of this podcast, that we pretty much have straightforward games. So Vitality Australis, Vitality top 6 team. Rogue versus SK is going to be Rogue. Fnatic versus Schalke, we're expecting Fnatic. And G2 versus Excel is going to be G2. Now we have the banger game, which I believe is the game of the week, maybe? Where it's Misfits against Mad Lions. Unless there's Misfits Rogue. There's Misfits G2. No, it's Mad Rogue and Misfits G2. We'll see. Misfits Mad. Wait, I put Mad Lions? Something's wrong here. What? Are those the right games? Have I screwed it up? Did I really vote for Mad Lions? I don't think so. I think I messed it up, guys. Give me 2 seconds. I need to check my predictions within the Discord. Let's see. I'm sorry, this is such a bad. I put Misfits. What the hell? Okay. I'm gonna change that real quick. What did the community put? Sure, the community put Misfits as well. Week 4, where are we? Yeah, you guys put Misfits. I'm sorry. I've completely screwed that up. I'm just doing a bit of changes. You guys are seeing some behind the scenes stuff. Let me see. There we go. Whoop. Shoop da whoop. There we go. And then we're just gonna do this. There we go. Boom. Oops. I just want to make sure I position this correctly. This is all over the place. Wait, what's the 807? Okay. There we go. Boom. Yeah, so those are the correct predictions this time. This is pretty much Hollywood for you guys. You're seeing some behind the scenes shit. Yeah, so I think we pretty much agree on the outcomes. I believe Misfits definitely is gonna have the pressure of showing that they are the top number 1 team of LEC and continue their win streak. Now going into day 2, you guys actually voted for G2, right? Yeah, it's very close. It's like 60-40, but I'm not sold. I definitely think Misfits looks way more solid. Now, maybe G2 just has a great performance and takes Misfits by surprise, but looking at, obviously, recency, Misfits are just so consistent, quite dominant. Razork is really... If we put Inspired as the top 1 jungler, I think Razork is right behind. But other than that, Fnatic SK... expecting Fnatic to win. Schalke should have, I think, a solid game against Astralis. Could go either way. But still, I think Nuclear Int is very, very solid, and Broken Blade, if he has a good game, it will just be an easy one to pick up for Schalke. Vitality versus Excel. Again, it's top 6 team against the bottom. And finally, Misfits against G2 and Rogue versus Mad. Um, it's actually interesting. We have like 2 banger games on Saturday, which could go either way. But still, I think like Misfits are the contenders here, and Rogue looking a bit more solid than Mad, who's still trying to find their pace. So I don't know if you guys agree. I mean, it's your guys' votes, the community, but if you guys have maybe a different point of view of how it's going to be, you know, G2 need to find their mojo. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. They need to find their groove again. It's definitely looking Monka-esque, and again, G2 in a best of 5 could be a different beast, but still, the best of ones are here to sort of build yourself, and I doubt if G2 keep the same level of performances that they're gonna have any impact going into the playoffs, and might actually start at in the sort of lower brackets, so it'll be like no 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 chance to even test out a best of 5. It's like no mistakes are allowed, and you just run the gauntlet. So yeah, Fnatic aren't last or yeah. And that's the thing. It's like there's such banger games that Misfits G2, Rogue versus Mad are the last one. So we actually get sort of a cool little display here with Fnatic as a third game. I agree. I agree on that one. But yeah, this is pretty much it for this week of Inside Fnatic's Brush. Thank you, and sorry for the inconvenience. I'm not sure what happened, but hopefully we don't have that problem next week. Guys, once again, thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna try to have the episodes on the YouTube channel, even though you guys can watch it here on VOD, but the YouTube channel is kind of your one-stop shop to see all the archive of previous episodes. Enjoy the games tomorrow and Sunday. Thank you for watching. Always Fnatic. See you next week, guys. Bye.